Hello, I am back to bring another Orcust update. I had the kind of original video that just talked about the deck, the theme of the deck, I should say, and how it typically plays. But if you've played any ranked PvP duels in the last few days, all you're playing is Orcust. People are playing it in different ways, and I want to show off a few variations of it. I typically wouldn't do this, but like the deck is just being played in such unique ways that I want to show a few examples of it. Um, so the version I showed at first, somewhat basic, low 20s in the number of cards. This one is going to be a bit different. It is unlike anything I've shown on my channel, but I've had a lot of fun with it, playing with it. And this is an Orcust variation where really Lightsworn is the focus. Now, just kind of from a fundamental level, most of the Orcust monsters have graveyard effects. That means that we want to get them to the graveyard, and what better way to do that than with Lightsworn? Um, Now this is probably the only time I'm going to be showing off a 30 card deck, but Lightsworn kind of works well for that. You don't want to do Lightsworn with like 20 cards because you're going to deck out in a few turns and it's not going to end well for you. But what this also means is if we're trying to mill so many cards from our deck to our graveyard, we're not going to put a ton of like traps and things like that that are going to be useful that we don't want to put in our graveyard and are just like by luck of the draw going to get there. So you're not going to see a ton of stuff on that end. We have an MST, we have a Book of Moon, we have a Cosmic Cyclone. But other than that, I mean, we have the Orcustrated Return, but that can also be searched out. I have one IDP in here just to finish up my limited 3, and an Orcustrated Release, which can also be searched. So not a ton of monsters that we need to say like, ooh, I need that one card, because when you're going to be milling monsters to the graveyard, there's the risk of just throwing something in the graveyard that you can't get back, so you don't want to do too many things there. We have Iblee in here, so there's a couple little things to mention. So in addition to having the Orcust monsters, and I'll put the whole deck list in the description, the Orcust monsters of Dark Horror or Harp Horror, of where are we? Knightmare, of Cymbal Skeleton. We have the World Legacy Wand, and we have the Brass Bombard. So like typical stuff, we have 2 or 3 of each of them. So we have the Iblee here, and just kind of as a reminder, what you really need for the Orcust deck is for your first turn especially, being able to get 2 monsters in the field, one being an Orcust, one being anything else, or it could be an Orcust as well. And from that, you can link summon into Galatea, and kind of get the chains moving from there. But there's a lot of focus around this, so if we get Iblee out first turn, we can link summon into Nightmare Mermaid. I know I said after the ban list we wouldn't see it often, but already I am wrong, and we're finding fun ways to incorporate it. And with that, when Nightmare Mermaid comes out, we can either bring an Iblee to our side as well, or we can also target Orcust Knightmare because it is a Nightmare monster, so things looping together very nicely there. One other kind of fun thing to mention there, and I'm playing a skill you're not going to see too often, but for good reason. So we're playing Majestic Light, which is going to let us exchange 1 monster card from our hand to then play a Majestic Dragon from our deck. And this can be in addition to our normal summon for the turn. So it is very powerful if I just need to put, Cymbal Skeleton in there because I have my hand, and I have one more, I have it in my hand, I have one more monster. Can use Majestic Light to bring out Majestic Dragon, and I can start my link summoning. So just more consistency kind of baked in. But this deck, I mean, as long as you play it in a decent fashion, it's going to feel like it has unlimited resources. You are constantly banishing monsters, bringing monsters back into the deck, bringing monsters from the graveyard to your field, sending from the field to the graveyard or banishing, and just recycling and recycling and recycling resources. So I can't think of a time within Duel Links that it just felt this heavy with Orcust specifically, but I am very happy that there are so many different ways that it's being played, because if it was one just consistent way that it was being played, it would not be enjoyable. But I'm very curious to see how this keeps developing. I've already seen a couple of different variations that I'm going to bring to you guys over the next week or two. But let me know what you think of this one. I don't typically play 30-card decks, and I hadn't played too much of Lightsworn, but I do find this fun. You watch your cards kind of get thrown out, and then as they are sent to the graveyard, there's typically like 1 or 2 that you can use the graveyard effect. So it feels like the fun never ends. Definitely a powerful deck. I don't want to say like this is King of Games worthy because I haven't seen all of the variations and know the absolute top, but there's no doubt you can win duels with it. I've played some and definitely going to show off on the channel here. But let me know your thoughts below. Is there a variation that you're playing? Anything like that? So hope you enjoyed.